And shifting focus to Kenya, since the Industrial Revolution started, the global temperatures have been rising constantly. And despite the world leaders making climate commitments, we are not on track to meet with the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement, where scores of countries agreed to limit global warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius mark. The consequences of climate crisis can be seen all across the globe. But poorer nations, especially those in Africa, have been hit hard by the fallout from climate change. There are aggravated droughts and flooding in Africa, despite being least responsible for carbon emissions. In an interview on the sidelines of the African Union Summit, which is taking place in the Ethiopian capital of Addis Ababa, climate change came out to be one of the major topics. Kenyan President William Ruto has called for rich countries to be held accountable for driving global warming and for a revamp of international financial institutions to better fight climate change. Listen in.
We are at a place where we have no options. Climate change is a daily reality in many parts of the world. And it is not getting better, it is getting worse unless something gives way, unless we have a honest conversation.
Urging richer countries to start treating Africa as an asset and not be treated as beggars in climate talks. The Kenyan president said that the continent wants a system that is accountable and that holds the emitters who pollute the world to account. And if it is not accountable, then that means the institution is corrupt. For years, the government in Africa have been demanding that the world's top polluters pay for the harm the emissions have caused under the Loss and Damage Fund that was agreed at the latest round of UN climate talks held in Egypt last year, where the fund will cover costs that poor countries face from climate-linked natural disasters and impacts like rising sea levels. But Ruto, who also chairs the Committee of African Leaders on Climate Change, believes that more must be done, including a plan to reduce planet heating emissions from fossil fuels.
Continuing the impunity of turning on fossil fuels, turning on coal, as is happening today, puts the whole globe at risk.
Scientists warn that droughts, floods, storms and heat waves will only get stronger and more frequent due to global warming. And the Horn of Africa is one of the regions most vulnerable to climate change, as extreme weather events are occurring with increased frequency and intensity. The consequences of this can be already seen in Ethiopia, Kenya and Somalia. According to UN estimates, around 22 million people are at a risk of hunger in areas gripped by the worst droughts in 4 decades.